Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caroline and today is day 17 of 30 days commitment to embodiment journey. Again, if you hear noises in the back, it's Sanchez, who I call Chocho, Chochito, Chichito, Chochi, Chochichu. The dog is walking around doing his thing in the back. All right, so if you hear noises, it's him. Now, in today's video, I want to talk about you can still embody and manifest from the embodiment of your desire, even while feeling like shit, even when you have a shitty week, even when things seem to go completely left, even when inside of you, you're not feeling it, you're not feeling nothing, okay? And as a woman, particularly, it's different for us. Why? Because we go through cycles every month for the majority of our lives, okay? Meaning our hormones can go like a roller coaster, from one week to the next every 28 days. But depending on the woman and her cycle, of course, it's different. But I'm speaking from a general point of view. So depending on what's going on in your life, if there's a lot of stress happening, a lot of moving parts in your life, your hormones will respond accordingly. So there might be a month where, let's say, I don't know, you're moving and there's a lot of things going on, and dealing with the movers is a stress in and of itself. The new house, there's some things going on that you were not expecting, new expenses, whatever. If you have kids and animals, getting all that, organized, it can be a lot, and that can affect your cycle and your hormones and how you'll feel during PMS, and if you're a woman, if you're a woman, then sometimes you wake up and it's like you're already pissed. You just woke up. The day just started, and yet you're like, fuck, why am I mad? And then, anyways, that's what I do. I check my calendar. I'm like, wait. I check my calendar and I'm like, PMS week. My cycle is starting in a few days. It makes sense. And so then that's how I can, calm myself down or come back to center, because I know that whatever it is I'm feeling on the surface, it's not necessarily a real thing, because I just woke up. So why am I mad? The day did nothing to me yet. Or, it did nothing to me, period. And I'm already in my feelings. But I understand that, it's because my cycle is going to start. And therefore, I know that, okay, I don't have to put a lot of energy into this surface emotion that I'm feeling, because it's maybe just a wave of, whatever was within my spirit that's just, doing its thing. And I'll let it, I let that wave right out without acting on it, because I know it's not really how I feel deep down. Deep down, it's like last night I was okay, everything was all good. Everything was all good just a night ago. And so there's no real reason, no real weight to this. It's just a hormonal wave, and that has to pass because my cycle is going to start soon. So that being said, it just, because I've experienced that, right? And maybe you have too. Let me know in the comments. Because I've experienced that, it also brings me to this point where you can still intentionally manifest from the new embodiment, even when you have days like that where you wake up and it's like, I'm not feeling it, and you start having these thoughts, or your inner dialogue is like, oh, unpleasant, it's not fun. You're not having fun in your own skin. Like, this is not the best experience. And yet there are, not everybody, but there are some people who insist that, you have to keep your vibes high. And if you have like a negative thought, or a thought that is contrary to the embodiment that you desire to live, lead, and love from, that if you entertain those too long, or even if you just have one thought, then it completely cancels out everything. And that, in my opinion, is not entirely true. Now, if you stay there, and you put a lot of energy, you, like I said in my last video, like you entangle yourself, you involve yourself emotionally, you act from it, like you embody that energy fully, and you're just mad and you act mad and you cuss everybody out, and everybody's gonna get it, even the dog, the cat, everybody's getting cussed out. And you just keep on with that, and you identify with that. Like, oh, I'm mad today, so fuck it, you know, like everybody's gonna get it. The cashier at the grocery store, if, you know, she looked at you some kind of way, then it's like it's on. You know, you really embody it, and you live, lead, and love. It doesn't feel like love, but you live from it, you identify with it. That's where it's like, maybe we should revisit that, you know. You can still feel some type of ways because it's in your body, and it's like, listen, I can't control it. My hormones are like this, so I just have to let that wave pass. And as I said in my last video, you don't have to, but what I do is I become the witness. Okay, I talked about, you know, the exercise of Svatya, self-inquiry, where you just remove yourself from being you. It sounds wild, but, you know, we can talk about this in another video, but you're not your body, you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you're not your feelings, you're not your sensations. You're behind it. The real you is behind it. And even then, being the witness is not you. There are other levels to this shit, but for now, let's just keep with the witness. And if you are, I'm assuming maybe you're into yoga, but you know what this is, okay? Being the witness. And so I come into this position of being the witness, and I just observe, like, okay, that emotion is doing its thing. Go ahead, emotion, those feelings, those sensations, they are not the true me. Right now, this is what's going on. Like, there's a storm going by, but I'm just in the background observing the storm happen and not involving myself with it, and therefore not taking that energy and spewing it out onto people, onto things, and just radiating from it because I choose to identify with it. I put myself right in the middle, in the eye of the storm, and just, you know, fucking, you know, just go around and fuck shit up, you know. No, I remove myself. I take a step back, come into the witness position. It's like, this is what's going on. So I keep myself calm. And if you live with people, you know, you can even let them know, like, hey, right now let's say if we take the example of going through, you know, the hormonal changes and PMS right before your blood cycle starts, you can let them know, like, yo, time of the month is about to come up, and at this very moment I'm feeling this type of way, so I'm gonna just, you know, I'm gonna just stay a little calmer. I'm gonna just maybe be a little more introverted into my bubble, and you know, don't mind me for the next, you know, few minutes or the next hour. Like, I'm allowing a storm to pass, okay? And you can even have like a code word for it. Way back in the days, I would call it pineapple. I would tell the people that I would be around, like, pineapple vibe going on right now. So just want to let y'all know, I'm not going to be like the bubbly Caroline that you know. I'm just going to be a little more, you know, introverted for now. I'm just going to be more into keeping my peace together, and so I can allow this storm to pass, okay? So I'm gonna be present. If you need something, I'm here to, you know, I can still respond, I can still function, but my energy is gonna be more, I'm just gonna protect it a little more and allow this thing to do its thing and to pass, all right? I'll give you examples. Now, it doesn't have to be just about going through your cycle, right? It could be within a range of anything else, because you could not be going through your cycles, and just as a basis of your personal foundation of who you are and how you feel about yourself, how you identify, or your self-concept, there could be days where you're triggered, or not necessarily, and you're not feeling it, okay? You're just not feeling it on that day or in that moment. And still, even if you have an intention to consciously manifest something, or not even consciously, just a desire to manifest something, even while you're not feeling it, even if you're feeling like shit, it can still come to pass. I have two examples of this. First one, there's a lady that I met, and I met her during travels. She was not native to that country, okay? But she wanted to stay there. And she was like, listen, my money's about to run low, real low, and I don't want to go back to my home country. I want to stay here. So I need, like, I guess not really a job because she's not a resident, you know, she doesn't have citizenship in that country, but she thought, I need some hustles to help me stay here longer. And she was really worried about it. She was not speaking about it from a place of power. She was speaking of that from a place of lack, from a place of need, borderline desperation, okay? She was really, really concerned and really worried, and she kept that script going and going and going, because I would spend a lot of time with her because of the work that we did. We were often working in the same space. So she would talk to me, would have conversations, and that was her script for a while, like just on and on and on and on. Like, I need this, I need this, I need this. I'm gonna be in trouble if not, you know. And whenever we would go to the store, she would count it down to the pennies and like, oh, I can't spend much more than this amount because I need to have at least that amount for tomorrow if I need anything. And, you know, breaking her money down to like, can't spend more than $10-15 per day. Like she was really, really concerned and, you know, stressed about it. Now, I would hear that speech, let's say, I don't know, for a week, 2 weeks, every day, you know, even if it wasn't, you know, the main topic of our conversation, it would always come up, okay? It would come up and she would say a few things and then we'd move on. But I was aware that that was her reality within herself, okay? And to top that off, as we were getting to know each other, she, from my observation, okay, I'm not in her skin, so I don't know it all, right? But from my observation and the information that she gave me, after a while, I assessed that, if I had to share my observation, I would say that her self-concept is not the best. Her self-esteem is not high. Her self-love, self-compassion, her self-trust and belief, you know. But then again, I'm not trying to judge her. It's just from the information that I got, this is what I could assess after a while and after hearing her speak and engaging with her for weeks. And for weeks, like quite a few hours every day for those few weeks, okay? So I had a lot of, I had a lot of data that I could work with to make that assessment. Now, so let's say 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, comes a day where we're staying, they decided to host a get-together, a gathering with other people. So other people who stayed where we were at, not necessarily at the same place, but like, you know, in the area. They came through, we had a nice dinner, maybe 15 people. It was, you know, we're just vibing, good food, wine, good stories and good exchanges between each other. And remember, that lady that I told you about, remember her inner dialogue, and it's not just inner, that's what she shared, right? At least with me. And even from identifying with lack, with, you know, being financially broke and being in a desperate need to find opportunities to make some money without getting a legal job because she could not legally. People at the dinner, without her mentioning her situation, you know, she would just have like regular conversations with people. She never once mentioned like, I need a job, I need something, somebody help me. without saying none of that, 3 of the people who were at that dinner, out of nowhere, offered her work. And work that, listen, if you can do this, at my place, or this, offering her different things that she could easily do. She just had to find the time to do it, that they would give her some money in exchange for it. Because they couldn't do it, they didn't have the time, they wanted to focus more on other things. They said, yo, this and that, basic stuff like, cleaning, da-da-da. They offered her work. And, she would get paid. Just like that. I was like, look at life. She did not need to affirm to herself that, all my needs are taken care of. I am not missing anything. There are so many resources available to me at all times. Life takes care of me. My bills are all paid. None of that. Her speech ran on, yo, I'm in luck and I need, help me. And yet, even while vibrating at that frequency, all these opportunities just showed up. And it didn't stop there. There was that dinner, and there was another occasion. I think it was another dinner gathering. It was another It was another dinner gathering that we had, because we did that a few times. She got more opportunities, to the point where she was like, oh my God, how am I going to manage my time working where we were, plus doing all these other things? It just poured in, it flowed in. You see what I'm saying? Without her needing or having to embody a version of herself that knew that everything is all good. The right opportunities are going to show up at the very right time. I am not going to concern myself with that. I'm just going to keep my focus on all my needs are met. The money that I gotta have, I have. It's in my pockets, it's in my bank account, I'm good. Everything is paid for, and I can even buy myself some extra stuff with this money because money is flowing in, type of inner conversation. And that blew my mind. It blew my mind. I was like, wow, that's amazing. And now I say this story because anything can happen for anyone at any given moment, okay? You don't necessarily always have to vibe high, have the best self-concept and all that good stuff, okay? The difference is, again, in my opinion, is that the difference between, let's say, that lady's version with, the low self-concept, and potentially the version of herself who would have a higher self-concept when it came to, money, finances, and all that, is that the one who doesn't have a high self-concept, I don't want to say what are the chances, but her ability to sustain receiving a lot of opportunities for work, how easily will she be able to sustain that and to take it to a whole other level versus a version of herself who has a high self-concept and will, just magnetize that into her life. Like, while she sleeps, people will just be texting her talking about, hey, I got, a job offer for you. I got this for you. I got that for you. And you'll get paid if you can help me with this, that. I know you're good at doing this. I heard through the grapevine that you work for this person. You did a great job. And therefore, I got a job for you too. You got a nice referral, blah, 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 blah. It's the ability to sustain, okay? And now, of course, today, I don't know what's going on with her. So maybe she was able to do it or not. And that's besides the point. Personally, I pray that she did. I pray that she did and that things are going absolutely fantastic for her, right? But at the end of the day, for me, it's like I would rather stand firm and be completely rooted and grounded in a conception of myself and in an embodiment that calls that in and can sustain it and, maximize it like 10 times over, 100 times over, 1,000,000 times over, where it's just easy and effortless without needing to stress, without needing to feel that desperation, like, oh my God, like my back is against the wall type shit. I don't want to experience that. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's how I feel in my skin every day that I'm most concerned with. It's not always about getting something. It's about how I feel in my own skin. And from what she was telling me, she did not seem like someone who felt good in her skin. Okay, we would catch her crying so many times, and sometimes she would drink way too much, make herself sick. It's because deep down she was not feeling good in her skin. She had a whole bunch of other issues, okay, not just the money thing, but a whole bunch of other issues going on with her life. So she would tell me how she did not feel good in her skin, you know. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I would rather feel good in my skin and be very rooted and grounded in this new embodiment of myself and allow my manifestations to be born out of this versus what would seem like luck, you know, because is that luck going to be consistent, you know? And not only that, but when you work with different people, if you bring that type of, you know, energy, because she was kind of like a, not her, but her energy, the energy that she cultivated within herself felt like a dark cloud. You know, I couldn't always stay around her too long. You know, I can maintain that proximity with her. I could maintain that proximity with her for a certain amount of time, but after a while I was like, oof, okay, I need a break from being around you. And I'm like, again, anything can happen, everything is possible. And I pray for her to experience, you know, all the magic that can come from having all her needs met, right? And for her to hopefully, prayfully be able to alchemize and transmute her energy to a whole new frequency where she doesn't have to feel bad in her skin. But would you want to work around somebody that, okay, they can do the job right, but being around them is draining? It's draining. And it becomes heavy. And you're like, oh my Lord. And you feel like you have to carry this person. At some point, I'll be like, you know what? You do a good job, but Jesus, I don't. When you work, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. Like, I'll see you, I'll say, how you doing? Good morning. I'm even scared to ask you how you doing because I already know what's going to happen. And then I'll be, I know it's not necessarily kind to say that, but after a while, it's like, damn, how much can I've offered you ears to listen. I've, when you were open to receiving information, I would share with you information that, you know, throwing seeds that, okay, well, if you cultivate those seeds, they can help you make changes in your life, you know, internally first, before you can experience the outer reality that matches that vibe. But there's only so much. There's so much. And after a while, I was like, yo, girl, I can't. I can't, you know? It's for me, it was too much. For other people, it may be all good, but for me, it was way too much. So all this to say, at the end of the day, it's not about getting things. It's about how you feel inside. Even if you have days where you wake up feeling like shit, you know for a fact, like, this is not my true self. This is a wave. It's something that's just passing by. It's a storm. It's dark clouds in the sky. It's a rainy day. But beyond that, I am the sun that keeps shining regardless. I am not that storm. I am not those feeling that sadness. I am not anger. I'm not disappointment. I am not, you know, fear. I am not desperation. Those feelings can come and go, but I am still the sun behind it all. And I can stand firm in who I truly am, even with all that going on. I remember I had a breakup once where, even though we broke up and it made me sad, I was like, you know, I'm still the shit. Like, okay, this happened and I'm crying right now, but I'm still, to me, I'm still the shit, you know? And me crying and feeling sadness, it's normal. It's normal. It's part of that process of, you know, going through a breakup. But beyond that hurricane of feelings, I'm still the sun. I'm still an amazing woman, an extraordinary woman, an extraordinary human being. I know who I am. I'm worthy, I'm valuable, I'm beautiful, I'm intelligent, I'm all the things that I know that I am, even while going through these emotions, going through this phase, going through this chapter of my life, going through a breakup, going through, you know, any type of situation that may not bring about pleasant feelings. Okay. This video is going to be too long, so I'm not going to give the second example, but it wasn't as intense as the first one, but you catch my drift. So again, just to loop it all back together, it's okay if you have days where you feel like shit and your inner dialogue might not be the most pleasant, but remember who you are behind it. You are not those things. You are not your thoughts. You are not your beliefs. You are not, you know, what's going on in your body. Like if you have a health issue, you are not your health issue. If you're single and it brings you sadness, you are not just, you know, someone who's single. You're beyond all of that. Beyond all of that. Way beyond. And if you want to take just the first step back, just be the witness. I'm witnessing all of this happening. This is the story. Come back to being like the projector of the story. Not even the projector of story. You're behind being the projector of the story. You're the one watching a projector projecting a story and, you know, a version of you living that story. You're beyond all of that. And this is where you want to anchor in your embodiment. It's from that space. It's from knowing that even if, you know, let's say, for example, I'm going through financial difficulties at this moment. I know I am not that. So if I feel scared, I feel fear, borderline desperation, and I have thoughts in my head just running around to feed that loop, I am not that. I can take a step back and be the witness and just observe it happening and be rooted deep down within in the fact that all my needs are met, all my bills are paid in full and on time. I have an overflow of money in my bank account, in my purse, in my wallet. Money comes to me in all different directions, in different ways. You can anchor yourself in feeling like I am financially abundant and there are so many resources available to me. I can feel safe and secure in knowing that no matter what the 3D is showing me, whatever, no matter what is going on in front of me, I am not those things. I am beyond them. Okay? So I shared this story just to give you a quick update. I shared this story because, you know, I'm a woman and, you know, my cycle be cycling. So when I wake up and I have, you know, these different thoughts that are ready to sound the alarm for, you know, XYZ reasons, and I don't feel good in my skin, I just remember, like, wait a minute, I'm not you. I'm not those thoughts. Let me step back, become the witness. Okay, let them do their thing. But I still know that I am the version of myself that I'm embodying, that new version, that new embodiment. I am that. So it's okay for this storm to pass. So while, yes, we have to, ideally we work on our inner dialogue to match a vibration of our new embodiment. But when you have moments like these that happen and it's, you know, it's a storm going on in your mind or in your body, know that it is not you. And that doesn't mean that you cannot be your new embodied version. And it doesn't mean that you will not receive or magnetize into your life the manifestations that align with that embodiment. Ideally, you root yourself there. Even if you see things coming through while you're like not feeling yourself, but ideally, we fully anchor ourselves into that version so that we can really sustain all the manifestations that match that frequency, no matter what's going on in our lives, no matter when we're going through a storm. I will stay in that version of myself because I know that from there, by vibrating at that frequency, I'm locking in all the manifestations that correspond to that vibration, to that frequency, no matter what, right? It's not going to feel like it's just luck here and there, once every 3 months. No, it's going to be consistent because that's where I vibrate. That's where I'm locked in. You see what I'm saying? All right. So this video is a little long, but if you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much for being here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what's going on with with you in your embodiment journey. And I will see you tomorrow for the next video. So of course, if this resonated with you, if this is your vibe, please like, comment, and please like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope that you have an amazing day no matter what's going on. Remember to stay anchored in your embodiment. Become the witness, and that witness, allow it to be anchored in your new embodiment. And know for a fact that no matter what's going on, you are beyond it. You are not those things, you are beyond it. And you also know for a fact that everything you desire to magnetize into your life is still going to get through. Even through that storm, those boats, those ships, those planes that carry all you desire will still come in easily and effortlessly, even with the storm going on. Okay? But stay anchored in your embodiment. All right? Okay. Have a great day. Peace.